This subject which we're going to explore today, I think, is fascinating. Again, I think if the takeaway from all of Hilchos Chol Hamoed that we've learned so far is probably that there are many factors they have to shuffle together in order to get a picture to find out if something's mutter or asur. You know, we have tircha, we have malacha, we have tzarech, hefsid, and you have to put it all together to come to a conclusion what the halacha should be. And that's what we're going to continue on this way. Im yesh lo schara, a person has merchandise. Shem lo yikarenu ata yafsid mehakeren mutar lo moichro. Why? Loss. So you're not doing business to make money. You're doing business in order to avoid losing money. So the issue of doing business was we didn't want people to be involved in making money, but that's not what's going on now. We're doing this in order not to lose money, so that's for it's mutter. If you're not going to lose out from the keren, you're just not going to make money. That's not a reason to allow a person to work.
What happens if the loss is not going to be for you personally, but the loss is going to be for your employer? Say your employer has an important project and he needs to finish it on Chol Hamoed, and you have the knowledge that he requires. It's not your loss. I mean, it might be upset with you, but it's your employer's loss.
Could you explain to me those key words that you glossed over? He might be upset with you.
Yeah.
Is that your loss?
It could be a loss in terms of...
No. You didn't hear what I asked you. If your employer is going to be upset with you, is that your loss?
Yes, it is. It's a loss,
okay,
but it's not monetary loss necessarily.
It's way worse. You're right. We have no monetary. Right? So I'll just... the answer to the question is you have to know exactly what's going on, but I want to share with you when I say a personal story, so I was involved in, and this is what I call from the things that make it worthwhile to be a rabbi. This person told me this lady works in a bank, and it's from a bank, from customers, but it has to be open on Chol Hamoed. But not only the customers but the employees of that branch are from. So you can't say, I want to take off Chol Hamoed, let Steve do it, because Steve is Chaim. It's not, he's not Steve. It just doesn't work, right? So all the work employees have to show up on Chol Hamoed, and it was with a threat that if you don't show up on Chol Hamoed, you could lose your job. So this person asked me. They said
they do that on purpose to con them people into having to come.
Not con them, because they want them to come. They need them to come. It's not.
No, but was that a Jewish, like, if I say you're going to lose your job now, I'm Jewishly, like,
No. This is for real. So the person asked me, I don't work on Chol Hamoed. I don't think my nefesh I'll survive. So I said, they threaten you, they really may mean the threat. So in my opinion, you're allowed to work on Chol Hamoed. So but I don't want to work on Chol Hamoed. So I said, are you willing to seriously accept upon yourself that gamble? The person said yes. They didn't work on Chol Hamoed, and they got fired. I met the person 6 months later, and I asked them, do you have charata? The person said no. For that, no. It's worthwhile being a rabbi, right? He said, Baruch Hashem, I got another job, and I didn't work on Chol Hamoed. I'm not married to my job. Now, if somebody would ask me the exact same question again, I would still answer the same way. I wouldn't say, go and learn Musar from that person. That person, I think, is above average. But that's one of us. I was nobody spectacular. We're not talking about somebody who's, I don't want to work on Chol Hamoed, and the Eibishter will help, and that's the end. So now, what's your question exactly? Okay, but it really depends.
The question was simply, is it a direct loss to you that's the head?
So, but I'd say this is a direct loss to you, right? You have a relationship with your employer.
Yeah.
I want to tell you something. I gave once a series of shiurim called From the Classroom to the Workplace, discussing all the halachas and the transfer, the mindset from. And I asked in this class the following question: you worked, you got a job on the bottom, and you worked for a year, and after a year you felt that you deserve a raise. So you go into the boss and ask for a raise. So I'm right now going to prompt you. So I told the people in the class, what's your sales pitch? So basically they all said, look, I came, I did my job, so I deserve a raise. I said, if I was your employer, you know what I would say to you? We paid you for doing your job. Why do you deserve a raise? Notice I agree, everything you said is true. Yes, you did exactly, you fulfilled your contract. Is there any reason why I should give you a raise? So I'm going to answer that question. You have to sell yourself to the employer and say one of two things. Either you say, I could show you that I did way more than that was expected of me, or I could show you that my services are more valuable than they were a year ago, and it's worth your while to hold me on at a higher wage. It's not a threat. I'm saying I am a better person, more efficient at this job. I started doing this, I could do 70 pieces an hour, and I could do 90 pieces an hour. I think I deserve a raise for that. You have to sell yourself. Just doing what you're supposed to do, there's no reason for a raise. Unless you work for the government. Okay, that's a different story. We'll leave it. Yeah, anyways, then you don't have to work. Anyways, so so a person has a relationship with their boss, and when you strain that relationship, that sometimes is a hefsid gadol. So you have to know what's going on. Now, also, there could be some times when a person has a loss, he's allowed to hire workers to do what needs to be done. That's a different issue. All right. Anyways, so here we say mikol makom. Now here we are right now deviating. We just now said that if you're going to have a loss, then you're allowed to sell. Let's say you're in a situation of unusual gain. I've said over this story many times, and I would say I love this story because it's so human nature-like. I had a squabble with a taxi driver, and I don't know if it's 50 shekel, 60 shekel, whatever it was. I don't remember I don't know what currency it was back then when this happened. So finally the driver gets annoyed at me. He says, "Besed, I'll take you." As he pulls away, he says, "I will taminni ani mafsid alecha." Okay, so I wait till we're well into the drive before I respond, and I say to him, "If you're mafsid alai, so why are you taking me?" So he looks at me as only an Israeli can, Eze misken. This guy doesn't understand anything. I could have made more money with somebody else. That's called ani mafsid alecha. That's an Israeli ani mafsid alecha. I don't know if you ever bumped into that before. No, it's in his mind, that's called he lost money. There are fatter fish out there in the sea, right? Now, Chazal do not call Meniyas Revach Hefsid. That's what this is called, Meniyas Revach. That's what this is called in halacha. Meniyas Revach is not Hefsid. Hu lo hifsid alai, hu haviach alai. It's a Mefurish Mishnah Berurah, we're going to see shortly, right? He just didn't know that Mishnah Berurah. But Echshahu, there are certain circumstances, situations, where even the Revach could be called, if you don't get the Revach, a Hefsid. So now we are going to juggle these pieces together. Okay, so again, we just said right now, if you're going to loosen the keren, then you're not allowed to. Then you're allowed to sell. If you're not loosening the keren, you're not allowed to sell. Mikol makom, im hu be'inyan shemlo mikveno ata, yelo revach Mois berevach. If you can make right now, you can make what's called in English a killing. Right now is an opportunity, but a great opportunity. V'yotziyos the simchas Yom Tov, and you're going to take from the proceeds and put them into simchas Yom Tov. Then mutar limkor. Some kind of a heter that, in a case where it's a major revach, and now you're going to be able to buy more things for Yom Tov or put it into Yom Tov. We discussed a little last time. Then it's mutar. Venerally. Now here we're going to see a fascinating idea. Venerally, shlei amru dvarim el halalo el b'mi sheyesh lo mois muatim v'chos alei miyotzim kol kach l'simchas Yom Tov. He's a guy who's penny pinching, and he doesn't spend a lot of money on Yom Tov because ein lo. V'ilu hayu lo mois beravach hayu moitzi yoser. So now when you're going to you're going to make this business deal, we can see it as an investment, Yom Tov work. You're doing it for Yom Tov in order to be mechabed Yom Tov. Avo mi sheish lo mois beravach lahoitzel simchas Yom Tov. He doesn't need to look at his wallet when he goes to the supermarket before Yom Tov. That he could spend money for whatever he wants. We're not going to allow him to make revach in order to be able to spend more money. Now, I just would like to see right at this point the bir halacha. It's a fascinating bir halacha, which is worthwhile seeing. Das hataz. Al mi sheyesh lo moras berevach. Das hataz. The dafim hu muflug bashiris. This is staigut of the mechaber, that we're not speaking about people who have enough money. That's all I'm talking about, a guy who's a millionaire. Avu b'lavachi, av sheyesh lo moras berevach, even though he has moras berevach, choshva kol kedei chayov, shel adam bizmanenu. Everything was within reason. Okay? Umatir lo limku kedei liyetz yetz simchas Yom Tov, u'b'sefer na'ashol mafak v'gal dvorov. In other words, there are people who go with they go shopping beli cheshbon. And there are people who have enough money, but they still go shopping im cheshbon. So the Taz says everybody has a level of ipuk, restraint, and when you will have extra money, you'll feel freer to use it Yom Tov. However, if you're an Asher Muflik, so Yom Tov is not any different than any other, whatever, the same thing. So that's the Taz's opinion, and most poskim disagree, and they say that it has to be, that it's really going to be a difference. But again, the heter over here is not related to loss. It's where you're going to have a revach, that the revach is going to be turned into an expression of Simchas Yom Tov. Okay, the Mishnah Berurah says, it's I think it's two things together. It's so that's half, but it's also called Yeshes Damnut. As we're going to see in the next halacha, Yeshes Damnut. This is when I can make. There's a word over here. There's a key word. Look at the Mishnah, the Mechaber. Mikol Mokom Imhu Be'inyan Shemim Karenu Ato Yeh Loi Mois Revach. You're going to have an opportunity. So you have an opportunity to make money. So then we have two things. You have an opportunity, and it's going to operate Yom Tov. We put the two together, and we allow you to do this business.
Right, it sounds almost like we're using the upgrade of Yom Tov, like the wiggle in a header. You got a good deal, so use the Yom Tov.
You are a pessimist. That could be. This is no. In other words, it's partially true what you're saying, but that's not the point. The point is, schayra. There's not really any isser in doing schayra, which we already learned last week. The isser itself is a weak isser. So when there's a reason to do it, so then we allow you to do it. So there's a variety of reasons. So sometimes there are a few factors that can come together to make it a worthwhile option. Now we're going to see, we're going to do the next sif, and I believe when we do the next sif, your question will more or less fall away. Okay. Next sif. Imu davar she'einu motzi tamid achar hamoed. Kigon sfinos asher shabo. You have over here, we live in the Wild West, and now the guy comes through the town with his merchandise. So now is the time to buy. When the guy comes through. Okay, so you're not in control when he comes through. Kigon sfinos asher shabo. O shebavak shemot says they're not going to be around. Umachru bezov or lochu biyoter. Motor liknois ulimkor. Afilu shelo letzorch tashmishoy. Elalasa ischor listaker. You're allowed to buy from these, I'm using a very important word, opportunities, even though just business. Fairs that have season. There's an April fair and it fell out on Pesach. Then you're allowed to do it. You're even allowed to go intercity, which is a lot of tircha. Why? Because here's the word, you need this for your business. This is not a luxury. You need it. Once you need it, it's a different question. Whereas the Zilzal Yont, if you want to call it, changes. But this is, you're counting on this for part of your thing, therefore it's how to do it. Now we're going to see a little bit further, it gets a little bit clearer.
This is not because it's an opportunity, this is just because you survive on it. The first half sounded like opportunity.
It's
the second half was like...
I don't think agree with you exactly. Well, we'll see. Let's finish the halacha, then we'll see Mishnah Berurah, and then you can, we'll give you the choice to say another statement. There's every week there's a day. You have to skip that week. Why? Buy next week. You're not desperado. This is not, your life doesn't depend on it, so to speak. People who their business is always, I call them day traders. They're always buying and selling, so it's called your opportunity. Now let's see the Mishnah Berurah. You're not allowed to sell things just to make money. You could always do business after the moed. So just a question of closing down your business for one day. But these cases where the revach are uncommon, okay, so here you have an opportunity, and I'll just use this as an example. I've been asked this question many times. A person gets a job interview on Chol Hamoed. Are you allowed to go?
And I guess the assumption is they're not going to let you reschedule until after the morning.
That's right. Today's the or sometimes
The job won't be available.
Right, the other guys gets it first, right? They're not waiting. You're not so choshev. They're waiting for you, right?
I would say that's an opportunity lost if you don't take it.
It's the loss of
You are a pessimist, or you're a taxi driver. It's opportunity to gain, right? You're not losing anything. But over here, we said when it's an important gain that you're dependent on it, so then it turns into a loss. You understand? So this is, you're right, but it's really not right. But its value is equal to or greater than.
Ready by the shuk. Meaning this is what he always does, so we could assume that his business will be.
I'll let me share with you the following question, which the poskim discuss, and actually in this simon some of the poskim discuss it. I had this question once. A guy came over to me. I can't recall right now if it was about stock or about shkolim and dollars. But I said there's going to be a drop in the market or a raise in the market. I forgot which way was his financial gain. Am I allowed to do this on Chol Hamoed? So we all know, as a sister-in-law of mine says, buying and selling in the stock market, that's a way of going to Vegas with finesse. Right? That's,
Legalized form of gambling.
What?
Legalized form of gambling.
Right, that's But anyways, I'm not right now discussing that subject unto itself. But we all understand that you cannot say that you're.
Can't time the market like that.
What?
You can't time the market like that.
Right. If you're the guy who makes it happen, but
Trade.
whatever. Anyways, so a person asked me, am I allowed to buy or sell? Because I'm afraid I'm going to lose. So I said to him, who says you're going to lose? He says, no, I'm telling you. So I said, all right. But if you really believe so, and that's what the indicators say, so many places can say you're allowed to sell or buy. I don't remember. I don't remember what was the subject exactly. And he took my sock and he lost his pants because it went the other way. I could have told him that originally, but but if I would have told him that, he would have listened because we would have gone the other way. Who knows? I'm not bringing any proof to anything. But here we have, is that called?
Put those two stories together.
That's why I'm saying it together. It's hard to know. It's hard to know what the right thing is. But anyways, that's the halacha. These are opportunities that don't repeat themselves. Now I know if I had some people which I call sticklers, so they ask. So Rabbi Zachariash, she said, if it's a weekly shuk, that's nish geferlach. If it's something that comes mizman l'zman, then that's geferlach, and you allowed to do it. What about once a month? What about 6 weeks? What about 8 weeks? I don't know. Okay, in other words, I don't know exactly where you draw the line, and I don't believe it'll be the same in every business. You have to really know what's going on. The guy is having their holiday. It just happens. It happens. Let's say Palm Sunday is on Chol Hamoed Pesach, so they're out to buy all their. I don't know what you buy for Palm Sunday exactly, but what? Yeah. Okay. Anyways, okay. That's this idea. Then you'll have to do it as we said before. Okay. Obviously, again, we're talking about you're not going to have a loss. Okay. Now, the Taga Shekoina, Im Yinkar Hayom, Yachsev Yikdam Echodesh, Yinkar Gam Yom Hasheni, V'im Yinam Alekas Yinkar Hayom, Yasib Bevadai Harevach. V'ayim B'mogen Avrom, Shela Afa Pikein, Eino Mutalim Korak B'Veisoi, V'lo Yeshe B'chalus B'Firsum. Now, this is again a fascinating opportunity, halacha, and I would just like to share with you a halacha concept which is under great debate, and there's certain situations where everybody agrees to it. There's an idea called Dover Sheyesh Lo Matirin. Dover Sheyesh Lo Matirin means something that will become mutter eventually. Let's say a person has an egg, and that egg was laid on Yom Tov, and that egg got mixed in with other eggs. So the egg that was laid on Yom Tov is muksa, and it got mixed in with other eggs. So the halacha could be that you would say that it's batel b'roiv, but the halacha is davar sheish lo matirim. being that on Motzei Yontif you're allowed to eat the egg, so then we don't allow you to eat it on Yontif with Bittul Baroiv, as the Ran says, Asher Tochlena Be'isser Tochlena Beheter. You can eat the egg anyway, so why eat it when it's Asr? Either when it's Muksa, wait for after Shabbos Yontif and eat it Beheter. What about, and this is from the famous questions of the 20th century, you go to a simcha and somebody lit candles, Shabbos candles, on a chair. And that chair becomes muksa. Then the cleanup crew come and they throw away the empties and they put the chair in the stack of chairs. So that chair is muksa, and it got mixed into the other chairs. So according to the principle which we set forth, it should be usher to use all the chairs, because Matzei Shabbos and Matzei Yontif, they're all going to be mutter. Yeah, Dr. Cohn, you don't like this question? Okay.
This is also borrowing the fact that you have, no other food. That egg case, meaning that egg gets mixed into a bunch of eggs, and the only thing you have to eat is eggs.
I don't think it makes a difference. Okay, so comes along the night of Yehuda, and he disagrees. He says it's choluk, the case of the egg, from the case of the chair. What's the chilik? An egg, you only eat once. So either I eat it now be'isser, or I eat it tomorrow beheter. So the halacha is, why eat it today be'isser, eat it tomorrow beheter. My chair, I use it today, tomorrow, next week, and next year. I'm not using it up. So the svar of Acha Techleno Be'isser, Techleno Beheter doesn't apply, because I'm going to use it Beheter also. When do I say, there's another view to say, when do I say decide the Acha Techleno Be'isser, Acha Techleno Be'isser, Techleno Beheter, when it's a choice, it has to be done at one time. But when you can use it multiple times, so then you don't say that, and therefore the chair is not muksa, it's batul baroiv. According to this is a phase of a question. It's a very famous piece. Okay, so now let's plug it into our situations. A person is allowed to do business. He'll sell tomorrow. He'll sell the next day. But the guy who he's like a day trader, he's always buying and selling. If he doesn't do it today, it's lost. You don't have to do the business tomorrow. Most people's store, if you close your store today, people come tomorrow. Right? Guy's a Jewish grocery. What happens if it's closed on Saturday? So people don't go shopping on Sunday. There's no real global loss, right? It could be have a little bit less customers, but no real global loss. Whereas in the case of the guy who's a day trader, he's always buying and selling, that's his business. That's not like a regular store. So then the Mishnah Berurah says, which is explanation halacha, so then he's losing out on that business. So in other words, we're getting very particular over here in the business strategy. And that's going to make actually a difference in halacha, what's muter asa. Let's just see this Mishnah Berurah again. It's a fascinating halacha, Chav Gimel. Dim yimkar hayom b'yachzir yikna mechadash, yimkar gam yimacher b'yom hasheni. V'im yimane milikras ulimkar hayom, yafsid b'vadai harevach. He's going to have a loss. The shiny Mecca, I lost my place. I am Rabbi Avrohom Baruch Zachariash and a mutter limcha rak b'veisoy v'loleisha b'charus b'firsin. Okay, that's the side halacha, but that's this concept. Okay, all right. Let's go to the next sif. The next sif is a fascinating halacha, and again, it's driving home this point. Mitzia also litroach v'lechapes oleho. There's a goyish boat that was on the ocean coming into dock, and lightning struck it, and it fell apart, and all the people drowned, and the stuff that was on the boat is being washed ashore. Right now, Kriyas Yam Suf, Tavshim Pei Dalet. Okay? And people want to go to the shore to collect the goods that are there. This is a Dover Ha'ovud, right? If you ain't coming today, right? Oh, it's Menias Rebach. It's not a Dover Ha'ovud. But what did we say? If it's a big killing and it comes in frequently, then it's in a Dover Ha'ovud. Right? Well, obviously you're not going to take what you don't want. Anyways, so let's see the halacha over here. We're missing another piece of the same puzzle. Mitzia also litroch alachapes acharel. Kigoy no shehetzif dogim al svosai. Also la osam kedei lekoshem. You're not allowed to collect them in order to pickle them. Elokim yirun lechel me'am bayom b'moed, unless you're doing it and you have a moed benefit from it. Says the Mishnah Berurah. Vav shelo yimtzu oisa achar moed, because it's happening now. It's not going to be around later. It's still aser. Ask the Mishnah Berurah, v'lei dami l'shayara she'enu mitzuya d'sharinon. We said beforehand that if there is a shayara that's passing by, and that's an infrequent happening, then you're allowed to. So why is it different? Shiny meka chomemcha dechai adam uparnasasai talui bezeh. That's how he makes his living. V'daita malzeh tamid, and you always take into account that there are these fears. Hilchos choshev pseida. The not gaining is turned into a loss. Masha'en came in mitzia duhurak revocha ba'alma, whereas a mitzia is something that you're making money and it's called a freebie. It's not attached to anything. So even though it's a great opportunity, but there's no heter for it because we cannot call it in any way a hefsid. It's just only called Menias Rabach. Okay, so my taxi driver does exist. Yes?
The boat is selling something that I don't normally. I'm not a seller. I don't know. I'm a tailor. Yeah, but the boat is selling things, and I'm like, this is a great opportunity to now get into the selling business. My dad is not on the tummy. I don't survive on them. Just opportunists that happen to be here selling cheap. It's a well good idea to get in the market right now.
I'm missing the question.
Right, he says the reason why it's mutter, right? The guy doesn't tell him this. Right?
Yeah.
Because this is how he survives.
Yeah, and this is not something you can survive on, right?
Fish.
Shipwrecks, fish, washing up the shore. This is not. These are.
So the guy's not normally in this business. He's not surviving on this money that he's making from the cheap selling something.
Cheap.
The ship is selling for cheap, right? He normally doesn't buy and sell for.
Oh yeah.
So he does not survive. He's just getting a good deal. He's just cashing in on the opportunity. What's there to not have fish? He's a tailor. He has nothing to do with buying and selling. You get a good deal from the ships.
I think that you misunderstood the previous halacha. The previous halacha was talking about a storekeeper buying wholesale.
That's the Yerida Kavua. But I'm talking, what about the ships that they're leaving quickly and they just need to sell everything quick?
But this is what you're buying merchandise. That's how I understand.
If I'm a tailor, could I buy from the
Can you change professions? Can you change professions in calling law?
That's your question?
Yeah, it's nothing to do really with my.
I don't see, I don't see any reason why.
It's like a shoreline, just getting a good deal. So the fish is also.
You know,
become a fish.
No. That's called an opportunist. That's not called your business. If your business is to be an opportunist, then you'd be correct. I'm very serious.
Yeah, I missed it.
No, there are some people that are what we call scavenger hunters. That's a profession.
Yeah, say
So that for those people, that'll be the case. But if you decide over here, so I'm going to make myself I hate to say it, you're Jewish, so I have to tell you that there's a Jewish joke, which is not funny. The Jewish joke says, if I was Rockefeller, I'd be richer than Rockefeller, because I'd have everything Rockefeller has, and I'm also a tailor. If it is, it is. If it's not, it's not.
The previous halachas is only talking about a guy who's...
That is his business. You want to know what would happen if you decide to change your business on Chol Hamoed?
To take the great opportunity.
No, then that's not your business. That's called a mitzvah. That's called a mitzvah. Right? No, that's called a mitzvah. That's not your business. That's not how you make your living. If all of a sudden someone came over to you and says, do you work for a living? Say, no, I learned. So he said, I have over here 5 packages of cheese. If you sell them for me, I'll give you 20,000 shekel. All of a sudden you became a businessman. Right? What? I didn't say you would do it. But that's not what we're talking about. And I don't think that's mutter. That's not mutter. That's not a...
So in the first case, is only talking about the guy that this is his business.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Next halach. Hamalves chavero al chayfetz oy al schoiro al tenai shem lo yifra lo levsoiv shvona yomim yeh koni loy. This is similar halach to that which we learned in the first sif. He made some kind of a deal that if you don't pay back, then the money will become, the chvatz will become yours. Yesh matir yesh oisrim, and the Mishnah Berurah explains this very simply. All right. What was the initial business? He was borrowing money. Just what ended up happening was that the collateral became collected. And here we go, Chazal, slapping on a gezerah. Yatiru kol mekach umemkor shaboilom. Everybody's going to make a harama. Shelo yeh mekachal rak achar hamoed. Ubasech hamoed yeh halva. And then there will not be any payment, and then it will turn into being the other person's thing. So therefore we answered it. Uladina bavare tov lahachmer ka'ishesh oisrim. Mikol mokom memnuchas b'yad hamekilim v'samach al dei harishonim mechasher ba'emes. And kavanas la'arim. And what about if it is kavanas la'arim? So then you're not going to do business. Then you are doing business. Okay? So again, these are the kinds of things you have to be intellectually honest about. Next. Oive kechavu mazol shapor liyisol yayin b'chobo. Excuse me. Because it's kamatzah yodadami. Okay, what's going on over here? A guy is giving you goods, you're allowed to take it because there's never a guarantee that a guy will repay. Okay? So that's called an opportunity. Okay. Now is the time. This is a subject which in the Shvius Yurim we just spoke about this at great length. I would like to help you people out. If you are a wise consumer, you will buy your oil, your olive oil for Pesach, Hanukkah. You will buy your wine for Pesach, Purim. There are things that have seasons, and there are people who buy yearly when it's cheap. You know, there's a certain season where it's cheap. If you want to buy it out of season, even like olive oil, it's not something that gets ruined, but there's the season where it's cheap for whatever reason it is. Sometimes that's at the time when they don't have to store it. Sometimes because that people are buying it a lot. This is in the world of economics. If you want to have a successful store, you have a store in the same area with a lot of such stores, because business brings business. I'm not going to get involved in marketing now. That I have to speak to you about, but you're familiar with this concept also. That's okay. That's the way it works. So a person there's a lot of do something if it's his yearly thing. Now is it a Dover Ovid? No, this is only Minias Ravach. Now I could buy it on sale. Someone comes to me and says, Rabbi Zachariash, they have suits on sale now. Is that a Dover Ovid? You know the first thing I would ask the guy? That's right. Some people buy a new suit because it's on sale. Some people buy a new suit because they need a suit. Right? So, who are you? Okay, so he says, if your mahalach is that you buy yearly when it's in season, and now it comes out on Chol Hamoed, and you're not going to buy now, so your vision of fiscal Tavshin Pei Daled will be diluted because you didn't have this thing, even though it's a Minias Ravach, because you're going to get cheaper. But that's the way you run your life. I'll just close with the following psak from Reb Chaim Kanevsky. I love this psak, even though I'm not sure I agree with it 100%, but I love the psak anyways. I want to buy soda for Shabbos. I could buy it in the Makola, it costs 7 shekel a bottle, and I can buy it in Yesh, and it costs 6 shekel a bottle. So why should I be matriach myself to go to Yesh to get it cheap? I'll buy it in the Makolet. And anyways, it's what they call the Vitah Cheshbon HaBaron, because it's all Shabbos is Eina Min HaCheshbon. So let Hashem pay. He's not short of money anyways. Right? So he asked this question to Reb Chaim Kanevsky, and he said, no. Kadosh Baruch Hu will give you back 6. He doesn't support your lazy habit. Okay? Now, what would be if you're a guy that always buys in the Makolet? Of course you got back 7. Why? Because that's your price. So there are different times. If you're a guy who buys all your oil for the year, all your wine for the year at that time, now it's called you're being mafsid, not Minias Ravach. That's the base of this halachah. Okay.